we'll stop there because we've covered like 2 main sections here already. All right. First, the letter. Very interesting. And second, a sort of review of thoughts and how they are living, he calls them things that have validity and complicated organizations. And what do they thrive on? They thrive on association. The same way as, like, you'd say a plant would thrive on water, or even we thrive on water and air. Thoughts thrive on association. All right, I'm going to make a decision. I believe the letter stands on its own, okay, and we will let it be. However, I wanted to read that and include it because then that gives everyone who hears this or watches this that boost of energy, and it reaffirms that this energy is always available and they can directly gain that energy themselves whenever they need to. And he outlines his own main goals, which are basically to turn it around and tell us that we have everything we need to solve all our problems, including all the energy we need and the abilities and the information. It's very interesting. And then the second part that we read was more detailed, because we are the type of people that like to know how this works. And part of it is this. We need to understand that thoughts are living things. It's a difficult concept to make that jump. If we can move our minds and accept that belief, then we're going to begin to see why what we think is manifesting in such a way that it does. If we tend to think of them as more sterile or dead electromagnetic structures, we're going to miss out on some of the very rich, fulfilling parts of life and how it's created. He literally wants us to understand that they are living structures, because that gives them a higher validity in our mind, which is totally necessary. Remember, we are the ones creating the thoughts. So we are creating these living structures and projecting them out. And they are going out and finding other living structures, other thoughts that are similar, and attracting each other magnetically, and also have a form of repelling those that are unlike them. So, again, I need a little help here. How can we put this second part about thoughts into a simple sentence that will help us remember all that? This paragraph begins on the page 131. The second paragraph begins, remember, these mental associations are living things. Just the word remember, I want to take a moment to explain. Remember means putting back together, okay? Now, why would we have to do that? Well, language tends to draw out of context actual experiences, apply symbols to them, and try to convey the information to someone else. So then, if you're using this, you have to remember, you have to reassociate it back. He really wants us to remember that experiencing life directly is the key to all this. And it's ironic that we're talking about thoughts, because we usually consider them as sort of abstract symbols made up of words, and he's saying no. Once they go through our mind, they have become energized and they're alive. We are giving life to these thoughts. Remember, these mental associations are living things. So, unless we've said it before, I think we need to emphasize this. Thoughts are alive. Have we said that recently? Let's see it here. I think we mentioned it at the end of the chapter yesterday or last week, preparing us. But I think that's going to be the easiest way to simplify this. Does that sound all right with you?
Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You know, he had us go through that brief exercise of thinking of a sad memory and then thinking of a happy one and how it affects our body.
Right.
So it seems to me that if we correlate the phrase to that, that seems to be the essence of his message today.
It is, actually, you're right. And he gave us an actual exercise.
Right. So maybe positive thoughts affect your body in a positive fashion or something, you know, to emphasize the positive.
Okay.
Positive thoughts. My body thrives on positive thoughts or something like that. I don't know.
Well, let me make this clear. He didn't differentiate. He said that thoughts thrive on association. So I think it works both ways, and that's where a lot of this information can be sort of misused. However, by the time you get to trying to understand this stuff, the whole idea is that you are maturing enough to not abuse this. So, I agree with what you're saying. However, the reverse is also true.
I understand that.
All right.
I think we don't need to focus on the negative, though, I think.
No, not at all. No. But the reason that you want to keep it in mind is we do. Mankind in general, I mean, there's many, many negative thoughts we have every day, and we wonder why we have problems and all that. So we have to understand that we're creating these problems through our own negative thinking, see?
Right,
Right.
and once we understand that, then we can, if a negative thought comes in our mind, we can automatically replace it with a positive one.
If we've done enough,
Practice.
well, if we've done enough digging to know what the belief was that caused that thought. You know, you gotta realize a thought is almost a result of a deeper belief. So it's sort of a clue to look a little bit deeper. But I still agree, we need to focus on the fact that there's this exercise to draw attention that thoughts will bring in, through association, other memories, and that this is the natural order, natural methods.
He says that sorrowful thoughts persistently, you're reactivating that body's condition. So thoughts reactivate that body's condition, or memories reactivate that body's condition. Remembering memories.
We wouldn't have to repeat memories because remember implies there's memories involved. So remembering activates the body condition.
My body's condition.
Yeah, we're still leaving out a couple of things. Remembering reactivates.
How about activates?
Okay.
Remembering activates.
Remembering activates. That's probably the essence of what he wants us to learn. That sounds good. Are you okay with it? It's pretty simple. Remembering activates. I think that works.
Okay.
All right. Remembering that's interesting. It leaves it open. It activates the body, but it probably also then starts activating physical manifestation again too. I have this to say about this. Remembering activates. Distracted. Remembering activates. Let's go on since we will. Okay, so we're going to stick with remembering activates, and we'll have a closing prayer. Okay? Yeah, I'd love that. Say it loudly, please.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Heavenly Father, for this wonderful day and this information that we've learned in being reminded that remembering activates. And it activates the cells in our body in different fashions. And thank you for helping us to use this information to benefit our lives and the lives of those around us. Because remembering positive things about other people can also help us interact with those people in a positive fashion. So thank you for blessing us with this information, and thank you for all the things that you do for us and those in our